Welcome to another edition of PingPod, the Ping Pong podcast by PingSkills. Welcome, Alois.
Thanks, Jeff. Jeez, you got it again.
I know, I'm good at that, aren't I? It's great.
You're getting better.
Thank you. In this edition, I wanted to talk a bit about what was controversially called the World Championships of Ping Pong.
Yep.
And then there's an Ask the Coach question I want to talk a bit about, where someone was asking about hand-eye coordination, and then quickly just a little bit about receiving secrets revealed.
Okay.
So let's start off with the what is now known as the International Classic Ping Pong.
Yeah, it's an interesting event that's being run at the moment. It's a hard bat tournament where the players have to use a bat that's supplied. So it's all the same. So I think the surface is a sandpaper.
Yep, that's right.
Yep.
It is, yeah, indeed.
So going back to the old days of table tennis.
It's a big event in Las Vegas, Las Vegas.
That's right.
$100,000 worth of prize money.
Yeah, that's pretty big for a table tennis tournament. So
I think the winners can get $41,000. Runner-up all the way down to $7,000, and then it sort of goes down from there.
Yep.
But $41,000 for the winner.
That's not a bad prize money for a hard bat tournament.
And Australia's number one player, William Hensel, is over in Las Vegas right now, and he's going to compete.
Yes, he is. So it'll be interesting to see how he goes. I heard he was doing a little bit of secret practice back home here in Australia before the event.
Yes. So. I also heard he struggled against someone over there that is the US hard bat champion.
Okay, I'd say that he would. I mean, the hard bat's a fairly specialised sort of area, and the modern day players work really hard at playing with their modern rubbers and generating spin and speed and that sort of thing. Going back to the old classic hard bat, it's almost a different game, isn't it?
It really is. It's a completely different game. So it will be interesting to see.
Although I think quite an attractive game.
Okay.
I mean, I quite like the watching the old classic table tennis where they used to play with the hard bats and retrieve a lot of balls.
So would you be more interested in watching the best hard bat players over the best table tennis players?
I think for me, I like watching the best world champion table tennis players now because I can appreciate the spin and the speed of what's happening and understanding what's going on. But I've got this sneaky suspicion that the general public, players that aren't involved in table tennis, actually quite like the hard bat event. It's a little bit simpler to understand. They don't have to understand what's going on with the spin. And they're also getting really long rallies. The ball's in play for a bit longer. It builds up the tension in the rally. Whereas with the modern game, the rallies are finished in three shots.
Yeah, but I mean, you watch like Wimbledon, for example, and they serve every ball for an ace. Yet
they do.
Yet that is, a really highly regarded sport. A lot of people watch it. It's televised around the world.
It is.
So is it really the length of the rallies? Is it really?
But I think. Those tennis events were becoming less attractive when it was becoming just, serve and volley and that sort of thing. And I think tennis has changed a little bit back to more of a rallying type of game too. Yeah,
there's a lot less serve and volleyers. But I used to love watching Pat Rafter play, and
so
I think a lot of people used to love watching John McEnroe play and those tennis players.
McEnroe was classic, and
so I'm not convinced. I don't think that it's necessarily the length of the rally that's involved. And is it difficult to understand the current game? I mean, all you need to know, if they push the ball into the net, it was a heavy backspin serve. Is that hard?
Yeah, but I think for you and players that have played a lot of table tennis, that's easy to understand. But I think for people that haven't played table tennis and haven't felt what a backspin ball does and feels like, I think it is a little bit confusing as to why the best players in the world are still making mistakes when the ball's not travelling all that fast. I mean, in tennis, they see the ball travelling really fast and they say, "Oh, wow, that's fantastic." They can see the speed, whereas with table tennis and spin, they can't really see the spin, so they can't see that ball's dragged off because of the spin. All they're seeing is here's a fairly slow sort of serve coming over, and they're pushing the ball into the net.
Yeah, but that's only on a few bits where the player does miss the serve. Like, it's not a regular occurrence for the player to miss the serve.
But the average rally in table tennis is 3 shots.
Yeah, but you get to see, you get to see some good rallies, you get to see some good topspins, some fast shots.
Yep. And I think that...
And you do get the occasional rally where the people are lobbing, and people always come back and say, look, I love that rally too. And that happens still in high-level table tennis.
Yeah, it does. But I think probably not enough.
Yeah.
And I think, just the tension. I mean, watching Jusei Hyuk, playing is just sensational. Like watching him retrieve the ball, 2 or 3 times.
Yep.
And I think that captures the public's imagination.
So do you think that's something that the ITTF should look at? Slowing down the game and moving back more to a hard bat type of game?
I don't know whether the ITTF should be looking at that, but I think we certainly need to explore the use of these hard bat events to attract the general public into our sport.
Yep.
So,
okay.
I still love watching that.
See, I don't think it's really a problem with changing the game. I don't think you need to do it like games. Well, maybe it's not a good example because it's not that popular worldwide. But games like cricket have always been popular in Australia, always been popular in India, and I guess they have changed it. They've brought in one-dayers and they've brought in 2020.
Yep.
Yeah, so maybe they need to look at it. But like tennis is, I guess stayed the same for a long period of time. Do we really need to change the?
Well, I think it has changed. But
it has. Yeah.
But I think I think the spin is the thing that the general public don't understand, and using the hard bats and the sandpaper bats eliminates that aspect out of it, which just makes it just that little bit easier for the man off the street to see. But
maybe that's just a problem with getting the game of table tennis more recognised rather than changing the game.
Yep, that's a really good point. I think educating the general public and getting it out there. I mean, we had a bit of a discussion earlier about perhaps if the general public knew more about table tennis.
Yeah, well, when I was a junior, I went to China, and the hotel we were staying at, the local cook found out we were table tennis players, and so challenged some of the girls in the team to a match. And he was just a cook, but he knew about backspin and knew how to serve and knew how to play. And
true.
I think just in China, everyone just knows about spin just because it's their national game, and they're just brought up with it.
Yep. Yeah, maybe.
So they all love it.
So maybe it's more of an education of the public about table tennis and the effects of table tennis. Yeah.
Well, anyway, I think it's going to be a good event anyway. It's bringing publicity to table tennis of some sort, which is always a good thing. So good luck to the organisers of that.
Be interesting to see the results.
Yeah. All right. Well, recently we've had a question on our Ask the Coach section, and if you've got a question about table tennis, go along to our website, www.pingskills.com, and head over to the Ask the Coach section, and you'll be able to ask one. So here was one by Christian, and Christian asked, "Hi, how do I improve my hand-eye coordination? At most times, I always miss the ball or hit the ball at the edge of the racket, and I find myself not really looking at the flight of the ball, but instead just guessing where it will go."
Yeah, so I think, as I said in the answer to Christian, one of the really key factors with being able to hit the ball well and to have that coordination is to be able to watch the ball, and I think Christian sort of answered his question himself.
Yep. So
getting a focus on the ball and being able to watch the ball better is going to improve where you're hitting the ball on the bat, So if you're not really watching it carefully, just that small difference is the difference between hitting the ball right in the middle of the racket and hitting it around the edges. So tracking the ball will help your hand-eye coordination.
Okay. So obviously, I guess that's part of it, isn't it? That's why it's called hand-eye coordination, because tracking the ball is a huge part of hand-eye coordination.
Yep, absolutely. But the other important factor with hand-eye coordination is obviously the skills that you build up over time, and this isn't something that happens in a week or two. It's over your 10,000 hours of practice to start to be able to coordinate the eye seeing the ball, sending the message to the brain being able to react, and to get your bat into the right position, and that's a lot of practice and making those small changes and movements.
All right, but still a good tip is just always track the ball, because whether you're learning and to learn those skills that you're talking about, you need to be able to watch the ball to get that feedback and see where it's going. And then even when you are developing them, you still need to do that to improve your skills.
Yeah, and often we talk about like watching the ball, and it's even more than that. Like, it's not just watching the ball like you're watching a movie.
Yeah,
it's watching the ball intensely, like you're deeply engrossed in a movie.
Okay.
Like,
yep.
Like it's like you're in there and you're really immersed in the whole thing. If you can be watching the ball with that focus, then obviously your learning becomes better.
So whenever you're playing, practice that skill.
Yep, absolutely. Okay. So watching the ball will help your hand-eye coordination.
Very good. Well, thanks for the question, Christian. That was a good one.
Yep.
All right, and lastly, I want to talk about receiving secrets revealed. You want to tell us a bit about receiving secrets revealed?
Yeah, well, we've been working hard, and it's been a long time in the pipeline, I have to say, receiving secrets revealed. But we're getting pretty close now, and we're really happy with the product and how it's all come together.
Finished the editing.
We've got a master.
Yep,
I suppose,
master DVD
to start to look around and just make sure that we've got all the fine tuning correct.
Yep. So take us through a few of the things that we talk about in receiving secrets.
Yeah. So we start to explain, I suppose, the effects of spin first, and just. I think understanding spin is a really important part of receiving. So if you don't understand what's happening with the ball and what's happening with the spin, then it becomes difficult.
It is a prerequisite. You need to understand that.
Yep. So the effects, and then we move on and start to get a little bit more in depth and higher level with the receiving as well. When we start to talk about different things that you can do on the return, so different types of return, and your options off different serves. With your return, and then also we talk about trying to counteract like heavy spin and what you do by brushing the ball really heavily to give the ball its own path and its own spin, and then we go through and just show you some of that as well in practice. So
excellent. So, and we throw in some basic tactics against different styles of players. So we talk about if you're playing a defender or a blocker, or what should your tactics be on your return of serve. To give you some guidelines that you can adjust to your own play. I think it's really come together well. It covers a broad range and take you through various levels. And I think it's going to be our best DVD yet.
Oh, I think so. And we've had some good feedback and input from readers. So telling us what they wanted to see in there. So we've been guided a lot by what our readers have told us that they want to see in the,
and also a lot by what works when you're coaching people.
Yes. So we're not far off that now, so that'll be out shortly.
Excellent. Well, that's it for another edition of the PingPod. Until next time, see you later.
Bye for now.